Very, very excited to have Mr. Termanology and Produced by Neff with me today. And they're going to talk through their collaboration that's about to drop. Termanology's, what number album is this for you, Termanology?
This is project number 58.
Let's go.
Project number 58,
Yes, sir.
Shut Up and Write. Term, can you walk me through your early collaborations with Produced by Neff and the relationship that built up to this album?
Yeah, definitely. When Neff moved here to New York, he became like an understudy for me and Statik, basically, driving Statik around, doing intern stuff for Statik. And during that relationship with him and Statik, we built our own bond, like a brotherhood, kind of like a big brother relationship where, I'm telling them the do's and the don'ts of like how things go on in the music industry. And when you get to a new level, this is how you move and stuff like that, So I kind of just like, was one of his mentors early on. Excuse me. And then once we started making songs together, the dynamic changed a little bit more. It was, instead of him just being like an intern and just being like a friend, it became more of like an actual working relationship. And we started making bangers right away, like early. Like the first couple songs we did were like incredible. And that just led to a whole bunch of more placements and more stuff in the studio, working together and, shopping in each other's sword. It was like, oh man, I love that sample. And I'm like, yo, okay, but yo, change these drums or do this or do that. And, it's just years and years, man. Years and years of us just clicked up together, just grinding together behind the scenes. And here we are. Now we got an album together.
You have an album together, and you have a history of working inside of the studio in which we're recording this interview, Time is Money Studio, which I've had secondhand experience or third-hand experience from Neff as the relationships have grown inside of these walls and the collaborations have grown. Can you talk about the energy dynamic of that you and Neff have built working inside of Time is Money Studio?
Yeah, when we started Time is Money, we really just wanted a space where we could create. And Neff was the main engineer. So we started it together. It was my studio, it was my vision, it was my idea. But Neff was the main engineer. So it was really me and him working for the most part in the beginning until we started bringing other producers and other engineers to be a part of it. But yeah, we started this together, man. So the energy in Time is Money will always come back to the original, people that started Time is Money, which is me and Neff, you know what I mean? And it's crazy because over the last 5 years, we've both grown so much and both been able to do so much stuff outside of Time is Money. But as you see, we still here. And we pretty much did this whole entire album here. We did the whole Technology album here, which he did 3 joints on. And, his 2 albums that he did solo, bunch of other joints, a bunch of other albums I did. So, the idea was always like, yo, Statik, welcomed us into his studio, but that's Statik studio. You know what I'm saying? So when you're in there, he's making his beats, he's recording his MCs. And my idea was, okay, if I could start my own studio in the same building, then I could do the same thing that he's doing. And it worked because, we've recorded at least like 30 albums in this room. And, me and Neff was like the ones who spearheaded that. And sometimes me and Neff don't even come in here at all anymore. It's other people. It's like a whole bunch of other rappers, producers, engineers making albums in here. So I'm happy that, we were able to create this space, man, because this is a dope place to record. It's a dope energy and it's family in here.
Neff, can you share your relationship building perspective that led up to this album with Termanology?
Yeah, for me, it's like a really big full circle thing because for me, it starts before moving to New York, being like the local DJ in town. And then when Term would come into town, or maybe I'd do a show out of town, me and Deadeye, shout out DJ Deadeye, and we would, cross paths. We'd do the switch over when they would do their set, and they'd be like, yo, a couple of times, yo, check out my beats, this and that. And at that point, I'm just this guy in New Hampshire just doing my thing, whatnot. And then we really started cultivating that relationship once I moved to New York, like he said, with, going under, learning from him, learning from Statik, and that part. And that's really where it started kind of changing. And then, yeah, when we opened up the studio, it was just like game over. We got our own space, you know what I mean? But like, I still remember, that kid that comes from a small town doing our first song, on Vintage Horns. And then I remember
Woo!
like you being like, yo, I got a third verse.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like, oh no way. Like it was, it was at that point, it was, I
That's
was living my
a lot of money,
dreams.
right?
Yeah, a
That's
lot of
my
money.
favorite. To this
Bro,
day, one of my favorite songs I've ever made in my life.
I
I'ma
love
make
that
a
song.
lot of
I'm gonna
money.
make a lot of money.
Anybody will tell you. Anybody who be in my car a lot will tell you, man. Especially around that time.
Yeah,
That was a
nah.
classic to me, and I was like, okay, now I know we can make this level of records together.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just let's do a song together because we're friends.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was like,
Like
nah, we
we're
can
around.
make classics together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's crazy. So that was the actual first one we did.
I think it was either that or Only a Matter of Time, or it might have been.
Ooh,
It was one of them. I remember
wow.
like when we played that in the car for the
It's
first
another
time for
third
homies.
verse. It's
Yeah,
another
another
whole
third
third verse.
verse on both of them.
Special, man. Special
Yeah, no,
moments.
it was dope. So that was really like the starting of it for me. Like, oh wow, all right. Like we had that working relationship, but then going into it, like you said, now we're making records, and then being able to have our own space was, it was dope. Like we would always be over there. We'd always be trying to be, creative and whatnot, but we needed our own space
Absolutely.
for the
Yeah.
for a while, and we got to do that. And I remember, being like having the first couple conversations about opening Time is Money, and being like, yo, we've never done this before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, yeah, let's do it. Want to take the risk?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
why
sure.
not? Let's go. And then like looking,
It was a big risk.
yeah, it was,
Yeah.
and it was at a scary time too.
Yeah.
And I remember us looking back on that first year and being like, yo, we had like 94, 95 different clients
Yeah.
in our first year. And
Yeah.
then like we listed all the albums and all the songs that we had made, and it was like, oh man, it was worth doing. You know what I mean? It
Definitely.
was just,
Absolutely, bro.
and it's only grown from there. It's matured now. Now, how many years has it been?
We're going on our 6th year. We opened in the
Yeah.
end of 2019,
Right.
right? And it was officially open right like the week before the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I remember them hitting me like, okay, so you're gonna keep the space? And I'm like, well, we're not gonna pay rent if we don't
Mhm.
got no, we
Yeah,
can't
we
be in
just had
there.
to keep pushing it
So
back.
we had to keep pushing it back. But I remember that summer 2020 is when we got it lit.
Yeah.
We got it lit, and then we moved across the hall to the bigger room. We got the big booth and
Got
everything.
built the
So,
booth. Shout out
but it's
Element.
cool, man. It's like I said, so many legendary moments have happened in this room. Specifically, technology
Yeah.
for me was so crazy, and having Paul Wall in here and Bun B in here, and like too many legends come through these doors, and NEMS recorded Bing Bong in here,
Yeah.
which ended up becoming legendary.
Right.
A legendary moment in hip hop. So just so many cool things have happened in this room, man. I'm just so happy that we were able to maintain it. Even though, like I said, a lot of times we're not even the ones in here anymore.
Yeah.
You
No,
know what I
it's
mean?
a whole new generation.
Yeah, we both doing our thing separately, but then we always come back here, man, and
Yeah.
make stuff like this right here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Facts.
Yeah, so let's fast track from your first project to what is your 58th project.
Sheesh.
Shut Up and Write. Can we dive into the making of this record and what fans can expect?
Yeah, man. This is, to me, I always love the newest stuff I write and the newest creative output that I have, because it's like I get to give the world like my newest thoughts and expressions, and I'm always trying to write better bars and pick better beats and write better hooks and find other dope artists to collaborate with. And this whole album is all about collaboration, right? So the first one that I did that's similar to this is Shut Up and Rap. And when I did that, I just booked out the Archetype studio in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I just had every session, I would have mad rappers just come through, just rap, 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 rap. And we just recording all this music, and in the end, we chopped it all down to the best stuff. And then, after Shut Up and Rap, I did Rapping with My Friends, which is kind of similar. It's like every song has a feature. These are all my homies, but it's a real project. It's a real album. Intro, outro, artwork, all that stuff. So this is right here. It's kind of like the 2025 version of those albums, where it's like you see every song has a feature pretty much besides the intro and outro. And it was all about collaboration. And I think that the artwork on this is really gonna paint the picture of what we do in this studio. Because if you see on the cover, you see that's me in the booth, and that's Neff, And then you see we got artists right here writing. Then on the back, we got more artists writing. And then you see all the feature names. And it's like, that's exactly what this is about, man. Shut up and write. You see the producer making the beats. You see the artist writing the raps. And that's it, man. We're just making music, nothing else. Not about posting, not about, going viral or, none of that other stuff. It's just shut up and write.
Neff, can you share your perspective on the making of and what the meaning of this album is for you?
Yeah, I mean, Term said it so well, but it was like it really was the epitome of, just showing up to the studio and seeing what happens. It
Yeah.
was like what happens when you show up, what happens when you're just around your homies, and what can happen. And like we started this a few years ago, and like a couple songs made it to other projects. A couple songs went different directions. We added more. We thought we were done, then we were going, and it was like such an organic and natural way of it happening. And I think it really represented like what you were talking about with the other two projects, but also what it represented in the studio and kind of how we work already. Like, oh yeah, cool, it's gonna be Thursday. All right, cool, I'm gonna see you.
Yeah.
You know what
And
I
who's
mean?
coming
So,
through today? I
yeah.
got this artist. Let's see what we
Mm-hmm.
come up with. The other cool thing is about this album that makes it different from a lot of other albums, including some of my own, is that almost every song we did together in the studio with the artist.
Yeah.
Where a lot of times, especially nowadays, it's all email stuff. It's mostly all email stuff, dealing with each other's schedules. Everybody's on tour. Everybody's in a different state, different country. Most of it is all email. But with this one, almost every single song we actually did in the studio together. And I think you're going to hear that cohesiveness when you hear the project.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
Are there any tracks that stand out from the rest on this album that you'd like to highlight?
What's your favorite song on the album?
I'm gonna go, hold on, I gotta look, but I'm gonna tell you right now,
Yeah.
intro.
Okay.
Intro's
Intro's crazy.
blank check.
Woo!
And might learn.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I would have not picked those three.
Really?
Yeah,
Those.
even though I like them,
Yeah.
those are kind of like the last ones I would have picked.
Ooh, see, that's why.
But I see what you did there. Like you went with the grimiest.
Yeah, those were the grimiest.
You went with
ones
the
that I could
grimiest
think
shit.
of.
You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when you do 50 grimy albums, it's like the catchy ones feel better because
Yeah,
they're
they're
like,
gonna
ooh, I made
stand out
a catchy
easier.
joint. Right now, intro for sure. Frozen for sure. Disrespectful for sure. I'll say those are my top three. And it's funny how they ended up just being 1, 2, 3.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the reason, because one thing I'm really good at is sequencing albums. I've been sequencing albums for a long time. I helped Statik sequence the first Trill Statik. I've been helping artists sequence. Sometimes artists will just call me to come to the studio just to help them sequence their album. And that's a talent that I have. But yeah, I think, man, those are some real standouts to me. And I can't wait to see how the visuals look. I think that changes it too. Once you got a couple visuals, like Mia J, she got some real catchy hooks on here,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what we come up with, man. But probably the intro too. And I think it's just because it sets the tone. And it's like all the stuff I'm talking about. It's like it shows you exactly what you're about to get yourself into by listening to Shut Up and Write.
Yeah, for sure.
What up, y'all? Your boy Termanology here.
What up? It's Neff.
And this is our new album. It's called Shut Up and Write. You can go get that right now on iTunes. Go pre-order that, all right? Run it up. Let's go. Here we go. All right, let's do one more, and then we'll talk about the actual disc.
Okay, cool.
All right. What up, y'all? Your boy Termanology here.
What up? It's Neff.
And our new album is out right now. Shut Up and Write. You can get that everywhere. Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp, CD, vinyl, everywhere. Go get that, all right? Shut Up and Write. Termanology. Neff. Here we go.